Hi. Hi, everybody. It's Brandy and Shannon. We're here together, the founders of the Thriving Relationship. And tonight is, our weekly Tuesdays with Thriving, and where we come together for 15, 20 minutes. We pick a topic and we just visit about it. And ultimately, our big goal of this evening is to just help offer little tidbits to any couple that's interested to help you
have rich conversation at home.
Yeah, just little tips and ideas and topics that might just encourage or create opportunities for more connection in your own home. So that's what we do tonight, every Tuesday night.
Every Tuesday.
Yeah.
So this week, Brandy took the lead. I thought she came up with a great topic.
My brain works from time to time.
So we're always throwing the word thriving around. Thriving relationship, and sometimes we've posted, are you surviving or are you thriving?
Mm-hmm.
And I know before we came on tonight, Brandy got out, the good old, what was it, Wikipedia?
Whatever the first definition thing is that comes up on Safari when you say, define this word, please.
Define the word. What is it? So thriving, do you remember the definition? This will be a game.
I left my phone in the other room, which would be really silly to do.
Grow and develop.
Prosper, grow, develop, and kind of quickly. That wasn't the word, but that's what it meant.
Flourish.
Yeah, flourish. That was what it was.
And then to survive, that it had a lot of really fun definitions.
Yeah, there were several different, but it was basically like kind of managing to live through danger or conflict,
right,
or difficult times.
Mm-hmm. Just hanging on.
Yeah, that was that was of the several different. That's what sticks out. So how does that apply to relationships?
Right. I think, most of us have had the opportunity, we'll just say opportunity, to experience, and maybe it's within one relationship, but times where you really thrive in relationship and times when you're just surviving in relationship. And so the first thing we wanted to cover is that I don't know anyone who stays in thriving every single day. This is not reality, because maybe we start in thriving. Many of us do. That's how we've signed up for this. And then you drop in kids, babies. They will take you into survival mode quicker than quick, because you're adding sleep deprivation, you're adding other humans, you're adding
all new opinions, needs.
So many opinions.
They're so needy. I love them.
So the idea is we want to, if you look at your relationship as a whole, we want you to spend more time in thriving patterns than surviving patterns.
Yeah, I like to think of it as, we have these ebbs and flows, right? I mean, my life is filled with all different types of ebbs and flows. Sometimes money comes in easier, sometimes it comes in really hard, and fun ebbs and flows, and connection ebbs and flows, and self-care ebbs and flows, right. Just all of that. Sometimes it's easier to raise the kids, and other times it's really hard to raise the kids. And the same with kind of how we have thriving relationships. Sometimes we're just in survival mode. Mm-hmm. It's impossible to be in a state of thriving all the time, just because it is. I have a belief system that says, right, ultimately we kind of have to have those harder times, because that's what helps us appreciate and know when we're in the thriving times, because we have something to compare. Yeah.
Right. It's money, it's kids, and so the idea is, how can we stay, or how do we
get back into it when it's like, okay, we're surviving. I want to do more than survive. Mm-hmm. What do I have to do, right? Like, most of the time, we don't get out of surviving unless we start to change the patterns a little bit. We change what we're doing, right? We've all kind of heard that idea of like, well, what is the definition of insane or whatever? Insanity. Is to keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result, right? So yeah, it's ultimately we have to figure out, we've got to do something a little bit different to get us that 1 degree off that will kind of put us out in a much different place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think we brainstormed and narrowed down to the 3 that we've covered tonight.
Yeah.
Of course, one of the main ones, and the reason we do these Tuesday night lives, is we want you communicating, and not just about the surface things, not just, hey, did you get Taylor at 2? Can you grab bread at the store? We want you actually talking about, what's going on? What's your internal experience? If you're having a bad day, are you going home and sharing that? What are your dreams? What are some things that aren't working in the relationship and you'd like to see go in a different direction? So it's the conversation that can be difficult at times, but those are the conversations that keep us thriving because we're actually growing. Part of thrive was to grow.
Yeah. If you think of that contrast, right, of surviving versus thriving, most of the time, and I say this in like a broken record, but like the cool stuff comes out of the not so cool stuff. Like that's how we get there. So not all conversations have to be hard and difficult though, right? Sometimes it's, we're talking about what's a dream that we haven't fulfilled? What's a dream that we had? Can you believe that we're here? Like, what are the different chain links that moved us from like here when we met to like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe we're here with twins, or, or we don't have kids and, we thought we would have kids. Just being able to have those conversations, just lots of them. But yeah, it's just like Shannon said, is we just want to get it a little bit deeper than the grocery list or the schedule for the week or just those surface things. That those conversations have to happen because it's part of what, keeps
everybody
things going.
But it's do I feel seen and heard?
Yeah.
And the only way to feel seen and heard is that I get to go to that deeper level.
Yeah. And a tip with that, take turns. A lot of times in relationships, I find that maybe one person is the talker and one person is not.
The listener.
Yeah. And like take turns where you really practice being the talker or the listener. I know Brandon and I, we are both talkers, and like we'll just start talking louder over the other if we aren't really watching. Like, if we're not like actively trying to like, okay, this is a time for connection. So like, bite your tongue, Brandy. Just listen to what he's saying, right? Like I just want to listen. I want to listen to understand. So, if that helps, take turns, kind of trading the roles, you
can even set a timer with it. Go, you get 10 minutes and then I get 10 minutes, and see if you can keep from interrupting the person. Literally bite your tongue.
I literally bite mine. Yeah, it's got a red tip on the end of it from probably how often I bite it. Okay, so second topic was
you've got to do
set aside time.
Yes, meaningful time together.
Yeah.
Whether that's, are you getting up and having breakfast together? Are you having dinner together? What are you doing when you reflect on your days? Because we all get into the busy, go. Like, what is it that has brought you together? Are you really good about hugging before you leave for the day? Are you really good about sitting together as a family? Are you good about having a date night once or twice a month? But it's time. You have to spend very intentional time together.
Yeah, that's like what's always so funny is like these tips aren't I mean, they're not right. It's not anything new. Yes, these aren't new things, but it's just one of those things like we have to repeat to ourselves. We have to repeat to the person next to us so that they can repeat it back to me, and we put it on a sticky note in the mirror on the bathroom so that we remind ourselves we're gonna make date night. We're gonna have a date night this week. We're going to make a date night this month, right? Because it's really easy at lots of different stages in life to not make time for that.
Just look back on your year and go, wait, we were going to go out on a date every month. And we went out on 2 dates.
We had 2 dates in 6 months. Oh my gosh. Right? Something fun that I think to do with this one, and it kind of sounds like the last one a little bit, but taking turns planning the date. Like if it's a date night, I think that's really fun because one, it builds in a little spontaneity, a little surprise for at least one of you, right? And that's necessary in re-getting that spark going, right? When we're in a rut or we've just been surviving, like we need things to just shake up a little bit and kind of catch us off guard. So, maybe take turns, do something you guys have never done before. Like go try something new, experiences. Yeah, adventure and new experiences are a really great way to get that spark going. So.
And if you're trading back and forth, you also feel like, oh, they're putting in as much effort as I am. Because if you always feel like you're the one person that's trying to make effort in this area,
it becomes another to-do list.
It'll become another rich conversation.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Anything else on quality time together?
So we have communicate.
Yeah.
Quality time. And then the third one's a little different in terms of relationship. We want everyone to understand, and the more work we do, is that I have to do my work as an individual to really connect with another person.
Yes, you do.
And so I have to make sure that I'm taking care of me. And maybe that looks like the gym. Maybe that looks like therapy. Maybe that looks like a yoga mat. Maybe that looks like walks in nature. I don't care what it is and how you work on your own individual growth, but the only way to really stay connected, because we're all growing, whether we admit it or not,
right,
or changing, shifting, is that we're making sure that we're doing what we can as individuals to be healthy and happy, and then I can connect with somebody else.
Yeah. So that's like the big last tip is, what are you doing that takes care of you?
Mm-hmm.
I've read some fun articles on like what is self-care, and it's really a lot of different things. Sometimes we think it's like, and I'm mostly speaking to the ladies, right? I mean, not that you men don't go get pedicures and stuff, because I've seen some in there. I've seen them
I'm trying to get
manicures, and high five to you for doing it. But it could be that we go to bed at a good time,
mm-hmm.
right? It might be that we make sure we're drinking enough water every day. It might be that we pay extra attention to what foods we put in our bodies, because all of these things contribute to how we feel as a person, right? And so there are lots of different ways to help take care of yourself. And when you're taking care of you, it will be so much easier to connect with your person, and you'll feel more compelled to want to find ways to ignite that spark and do those things that are fun and that sometimes we get missing in our relationships.
Yeah, I think the energy level has a lot to do. Do you have energy that on the weekend you feel compelled that you want to go on a date night or have an adventure?
Right.
Or do you just want to try and regroup so that you can get in the office on Monday and do the hamster wheel again?
Yeah.
So you've got to create space for it, for self and for a relationship.
Yeah, totally. I was just thinking, so we did our little fun post, just a picture on football over the football game, right? Like, so we all went out with some friends, and we were celebrating birthdays, mine included. Thank you everybody for all the sweet comments I got. But I like that day, Saturday, we were all going out Saturday. Up until about 30 minutes before, there was still this little part of me that was like, maybe I just want to stay home and sit on the couch.
Snuggle.
Maybe I just want to be like in my, my really stretchy pants and like just eat popcorn and watch a movie, right? Like, I don't know that I'm alone in that feeling. Like, sometimes it's hard to like, oh, do I really want to go out with
especially
everybody?
This time of year.
Yeah. Here we're just freezing, and there's not very many daylight hours, it seems like. But be willing to shake it up. Be willing. We had so much fun that night.
We did.
Neither of us actually watched football. I hate to break the news to you.
Right. But we had a great time.
And people around us were doing a lot of cheering. So, all right. Anyways,
so what do you do if you feel like you're just surviving?
Well, we have rich conversation.
And we try to do things together.
And we
take care of ourselves. And what if that doesn't work? What if rich conversation we hit a wall? Then we have all sorts of options.
Yes. Yeah. So
that's why we're here. That's why we do what we do.
Yeah. If this feels kind of like, I'm not really sure how to do it different, right? Like, sometimes it's really hard to get out of our own habits. We have created several different options to kind of meet couples where they are. Because one thing we do understand is couples are in lots of different places.
They are.
And so one of obviously the most upcoming thing right now is we've got our Idaho Falls retreat coming up. It's a 2-day retreat, so it's a Friday and Saturday, the 15th and 16th. And it's just 2 days where we walk you through several different topics and areas of relationships where you and your partner get to go and break off, kind of spread throughout the hotel or around the river, the green belt, wherever you want to be. And you guys sit down with the kind of the curriculum, if you will, the exercises, and you two go through it together as a couple. And you just kind of get to have the conversation. You get to have the built-in quality time, right? Like, we kind of pre-build all of that stuff into it. And so that's one way. So if you're interested in that, our website's in the link. The link actually to that retreat is linked right into this. I figured out how to do that.
Yay.
We are growing.
We're getting.
Yeah.
thriving. Thriving is thriving.
Yeah. So a couple other options that we have. One thing that we find is sometimes there's a lot of work to do in a relationship. Sometimes couples come to us and there's, years of hurt and kind of resentments and those type of things. And that stuff can be worked through if both parties are willing. And so one of the really cool opportunities that we have is our intensive weekends. And that's where we visit with you and we kind of figure out what weekend works, what couple of days works. And it is literally that. It is intense because we go until you're ready to break, and then we come back for more. And, you make months of progress. If you think of people coming to weekly couples therapy, you can make months of progress in that little time, that weekend set aside.
Right.
And it's great because you go through just that little bit of BS, right? Where we're kind of going through the niceties and all of that. And then we're just diving instead of spending 5-10 minutes of each session each week
with that
doing that. And then like the fun thing that I love it when people do is like they drop this bomb 2
5
minutes right before the session is over. And then it's like, wait, what? And it's like, I have a client coming, we can't keep going. And so anyways, those intensive weekends, there's more information on the website also. And then our online workshop. Sometimes we have couples who, one couple that stands out to me in particular is like he worked out of area a lot. And so it was really hard for them to be able to get into any type of regular, consistent couples therapy. Or maybe one person is really opposed to the idea of coming into a therapist's office. Believe it or not, there are people out there that don't think therapy is cool.
Hang out with us.
Anyways, so one kind of thing that we tried to create for that is we have got an online workshop. And when we call it online, it really should be called like email workshop, right? Because really what it is it drops into your email inbox every week. And you get the topics, we're pre-recorded, we've got videos and exercises for you and your partner to do at the leisure, what works for you in your own home or whatever you do.
Of your own home.
Yeah, the privacy of your own home. And so you can do all of that without ever coming into a counseling office.
Right.
So that's a great option for some couples. And it hits several different price points because ultimately our big goal is we just want to help couples have whatever thriving relationship they can.
Right. And if you're tuning in on Tuesdays, and that's, this is always out there unless we go on vacation once in a while. And you find yourself in a pattern where you're getting stuck when you try to have the rich conversation. I mean, always feel free to email or private message or throw a message up while we're here, and we can maybe help you figure out that pattern. So the ultimate goal is to meet you where you're at, what you're interested in, but to try and help more and more couples really thrive.
Yeah. All right. This was fun tonight. All right. Well, until next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tuesday.
All right. Thank you for joining us. And thank you to all of you who watched it later. We appreciate that too. If you like it all, what you hear here, share the video, right? Share it. Maybe there's people that are in your Facebook threads that would benefit from a little bit of this information too. So with that note, have a wonderful week. And I hope you find a date night to fit into your week.
Stay warm.
Yep. Have some rich conversation. All right. We'll talk to you next week.